In 2007, a charity photo shoot captured Lionel Messi holding a newborn baby. The moment felt ordinary, just another superstar doing his part for a good cause. Nobody scrolling past gave it a second thought. But look closer at that frame, and everything shifts. That baby was Lamine Yamal. In less than 2 decades, that photograph would become the prophetic image in modern football. Messi didn't just cradle a child for the camera. He seemed to recognize something the rest of the world wouldn't see for 16 years, a spark of genius arriving exactly on schedule. This isn't about mysticism. It's about a master at his peak recognizing the next one before anyone could see it coming. Before the world knew Yamal's name, whispers started inside Camp Nou. Xavi watched him train at 15. The Masia coach, who had worked alongside Messi for years, pulled other coaches aside after sessions and said something that later leaked out. He did not play like a 15-year-old, he played like Leo. That was recognition from someone who had lived inside Barcelona's entire system. Rafa Marquez, who trained under Messi's shadow and later coached youth football at the club, saw the same thing. He watched Yamal evolve from a reserved kid into a quiet leader. Never late, never fined, carrying the kind of discipline that separates generational talents from everyone else. Marquez knew what he was looking at. The inner circle at Barcelona did not need to wait for the world to catch up. They already knew. Then came October 2023 at the Ballon d'Or ceremony. Messi stood on stage to accept his 8th and final major individual award. He could have spent that moment reflecting on his own dominance. Instead, he did something rare. He named his successor. Messi spoke with steady certainty when he told the crowd that a new generation was ready to compete. He specifically pointed out that Lamine was already playing a vital role for Barcelona. He was not offering a polite compliment. He was making a declaration on football's biggest stage, the kind of statement that suggested he had already seen how the story ends. That was not just praise from an older legend. It was a man using his platform to warn the world, this kid is coming, and he is exactly what I was at his age. Long before the press caught on, the people inside the training ground, the ones who had spent years alongside Messi, were already certain. These were not pundits guessing for clicks. These were men who understood greatness at a fundamental level. And they all saw the same thing reflected in a teenage winger with a left foot and a mind that worked faster than his body. The prophecy was everywhere. In the academy, in the coaches' meetings, in the eyes of the greatest player ever. The only question left was whether the rest of us would wake up in time to see it. Prophecies are not forged in press conferences. They are tested on grass under lights, where crowd noise meets the reality of the game. This is where Lamine Yamal stopped being a headline and started being a force. In April 2023, Yamal stepped onto the pitch against Real Betis at 15 years old as Barcelona's youngest ever La Liga debutant. He was not there as a guest or a promise for the future. He was there to fix a game that was already broken. Within minutes, you could see what Xavi and Rafa Marquez had been talking about. The ball movement was intuitive. The decisions came a half second before defenders could react. This was not a teenager playing above his head. This was a teenager playing exactly at his level. But the real test arrived at the 2024 European Championship. At 16 years old, Lamine Yamal walked into a continental championship. He did not come as a backup. He came as a starter for Spain, and the tournament would belong to him. 4 assists, tournament high. He did not just participate in Spain's attack, he orchestrated it. Against France in the semi-final, with the game hanging at 2-1, Yamal picked up the ball 40 yards out. His left foot found a perfectly weighted curl that bent past the goalkeeper, as if physics were optional. At 16 years and 362 days, he became the youngest player to ever score in a European Championship. Not just any goal. A moment-shifting, game-defining strike that froze an entire continent. By the final, Spain had won their 4th European Championship title in history, and Yamal had been there for all 7 matches. He was the youngest player to feature in a European Championship final. He was the youngest to win a major international tournament. These are not just records, they are proof that the whispers from the inner circle were right. The statistics tell a story that is almost hard to believe. By 18 years old, Yamal had accumulated 100 combined goals and assists for club and country. To put that in perspective, Messi had only managed 5 at the same age. Cristiano Ronaldo had 4. Yamal was 95 goal contributions ahead of the 2 greatest players who had ever laced up boots at his exact stage of development. Barcelona handed him the number 10, not as a motivational gesture or a marketing play. They gave it to him because he had become essential to how the team functioned. He was not a prospect they were nurturing quietly. He was the present. But here's where we have to pause and ask the question everyone is thinking. Doesn't Barcelona always do this with talented young wingers? Hasn't this script played out before? Bojan Krkić arrived with the same hype. Ansu Fati was supposed to be the heir. Both had talent, both had moments. Neither had what Yamal has. The difference isn't talent alone, it's maturity married to production under pressure. When Bojan faced expectation, he pressed harder. When Ansu Fati faced injury and doubt, the weight became too much. Yamal faces double marking, constant comparison to Messi, and European football's biggest stages. He doesn't flinch, he doesn't rush. He reads the game like someone who has been doing it for a decade, not a year. That's the LA Masia difference. Not just technical skill, but the person beneath the skill. Yamal was taught to be a person first, to handle pressure through discipline, to lead quietly. By the time he reached the first team, he was not a kid being thrown into the deep end. He was already forged. When Messi walked away from Barcelona in 2021, he took something with him that felt irreplaceable. The club lost a player. It lost a philosophy. For years, the number 10 felt like a burden no one could carry. That changed when Yamal proved he was ready. Barcelona didn't hesitate. They handed him the shirt, extended his contract until 2031, and trusted him with the club's future. It was a statement. We're not looking back, we're moving forward. But this transition is different from a standard passing of the torch. Yamal didn't inherit just a locker, he inherited a blueprint. He grew up watching Messi dominate every weekend, studying the way the greatest player shaped a game through presence alone. Now he's the presence. The prophecy from 2007 isn't just being fulfilled, it's being lived out in real time. Every touch, every assist, every decision under pressure is proof that Messi saw something that night in that charity photo shoot. Not just talent arriving, but a lineage, a continuity of excellence that transcends any one player. The world finally understands what the inner circle knew all along. That photograph from 2007 was not mere fate, it was pure recognition. Messi did not just hold a baby that day, he witnessed the future arriving exactly on schedule. Now, at 18, Yamal wears the shirt that defined an entire era. The prophecy is no longer theoretical, it is unfolding every single match he plays on the pitch. The real question is not whether he will reach Messi's level, it is what heights he will find beyond it. A new generation does not repeat the past, it rewrites it completely. Subscribe to Ball and Badge to see how this story unfolds. Yamal is only just getting started.